The following comments were pulled from the Easy Allies Patreon page among our $10 and above patrons. They represent what our community was playing and talking about in March. I don't have a Switch until tomorrow, and I'm a bit overwhelmed at how much Zelda has swallowed the world whole. However, that's not me. I've personally been thankful for the fact a new Nier game exists, because I never thought it would happen. To me, Yoko Taro is a more subtle, smarter, and less arrogant version of Kojima, relentlessly unique and always loving, paying homage to the medium. Nier Automata is meaningful, complicated, imperfect, and helplessly unique. It's a bit of a shame that I feel between Horizon and Link's new outing, this amazingly weird game will end up fading into the background. But my hope is that people will give Nier a chance, because no Yoko Taro game has ever played this well, and boy is the ride worth it. I'm certain Breath of the Wild is a magnificent game, but my heart belongs to the androids. Nier Automata is incredible. It is a game full with unique ideas. At the beginning, I enjoy Platinum's signature combat system while listening to its beautiful soundtrack. It's so good. After I played more and dove deeper into its strange world and story, I was amazed and fell in love with the game. From how Nier starts to the multiple plot twists throughout the entire game, it gave me surprises that may or may not be found in mainstream games anymore. 2017 has so many great games, but I really appreciate Nier Automata for being unique among them. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has been a psychedelic experience. I've not felt this way about a video game since I was in elementary school. Whenever I am playing it, I am in love. If I am not playing it, I can't get it off my mind. This is right up there with Super Mario 3 and Ocarina of Time. Just when I thought Nintendo may have lost a step, they do it again. Those masterful bastards. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is currently occupying the majority of my time, and it has been a revelation. I think about the game all day, and because of the portability of the Switch, I'm able to sneak a half hour of Hyrule into my lunch breaks. Every play session I find something new and interesting that is worth investigating, and it feels like I discovered it. There's a sense of ownership over my journey that most games dream of accomplishing. However, I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention the fact that my most anticipated game of the year, Nier Automata, is also sitting on my desk waiting for me. Staring at me, haunting me. I popped it in for an hour and know it's the kind of game that deserves my full attention. Thus, I'll wait until I've had my fill of Zelda so that both of these incredible games get the love they deserve. I was a Switch launch skeptic based on what was available. I knew I'd be all in for Mario Odyssey, but I figured I could probably wait a bit. But then the reviews, the streams, the details about Breath of the Wild started flowing, and I felt it. I wanted it. I needed to make the switch. Luckily, 8:30 a.m. at my local Target was a decent time to get a console at launch, apparently, and so my journey to Hyrule began. Oh my god. I'm not someone who's that into Zelda. I marvel at Ocarina, but didn't get into it until way after it came out. I appreciate A Link Between Worlds, but 2D Zelda games aren't my thing. All that said, Breath of the Wild has blown me away. I like open world games. I haven't felt this way in an open world since my first days playing Skyrim. The sense of complete mystery about basically everything that's out there. The call to just wander and see new places, regardless of what the story or quest log suggests. And the feeling that you're just a tiny, tiny part of the world. And even with that, Zelda seems to do it better. I don't know if I've played a game other than Shadow of the Colossus that was so good at making you feel physically small and making the world feel physically large. Most open world games feel obviously scaled down. For some reason, Breath of the Wild avoids that feeling. In many ways, the world is more accessible than most open worlds, since you can climb basically anywhere if you plan it. And yet it feels more foreboding and mysterious than most, if not all others out there. Maybe it's because we know that something could be found literally anywhere on the map, so you know none of the space is wasted as pure set dressing. I don't know, but regardless, kudos Nintendo. You actually did it. Breath of the Wild may have a more extreme impact on the industry than critics and fans may even realize. Never has a game made exploration feel so rewarding. The surprises that hide in the nooks and crannies of this world make the trek through the open plains a worthwhile venture. The lack of preset markers gives the player the responsibility to discover points of interest and make notes of what seems out of reach. It is shaping to not only be my favorite Zelda game, but possibly one of my favorite games of all time. Congratulations to Nintendo and the team behind Breath of the Wild. Here's hoping Monolith Soft has been sharing notes for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I had my doubts about Breath of the Wild, and while it's not a perfect 10, it's by far the most fun I've had in the Zelda universe in 19 years. Whether you buy it on Wii U or Switch, I thoroughly recommend people give it a chance. And if you do, kill some Octoroks for me. When I was a kid, we would just enjoy good games. Games that made us laugh, smile, cower in fear, and jump for joy. Nowadays, almost everywhere I look, there are people lambasting a game because it is a console game, or because it dare run at 30 FPS instead of 60. That is until Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild released. Almost every single person I have talked to has barely mentioned its frame rate drops and just enjoys the game for the game. It isn't the most graphically intense game around, nor is it the smoothest running game, but this doesn't seem to matter anymore. It truly does remind me of my childhood, back when the fun of games was playing the games themselves, not the frame rate or graphical fidelity. I hope this is a mindset that continues. This past weekend, I finally had a chance to try out a Switch as well as Zelda. My time was limited with them, but I have to ask. In an alternate reality, the new Zelda game is instead being made by Konami and is a mid-generation PS4 game named Story of Eric. Everything else is the same. Does it review close to as well as Zelda the Switch launch title? I can't help but think this game, though surely a good game, is getting a boost in ratings due to the name, wait period to get it, and fact it is a launch title. It has many flaws that other games get lower reviews for, but this game seems to get a free pass. The animations are often jerky, the sound effects can be annoying, the world is often sparse like an older generation MMO, flat textures and limited landscape objects like trees and grass, etc. The control scheme is at best passable in many areas, and the frame rate is alarming. These types of things cause some games to get 7s and 8s, but Zelda still somehow gets numerous 10s, despite this. Zelda is not a 5-star game. As my mounting backlog of games becomes comically large in this deluge of soon-to-be classic game releases, I finally had time to sit down and play Resident Evil 7. I was eager to see if the game could possibly live up to all the hype. The answer was clear around the third time my head almost hit the ceiling after jumping out of my chair. Capcom has managed to create a terrifying, yet addicting masterpiece that made two 28-year-old men scared to play with the lights off. Bravo, Capcom. Bravo. After seeing and hearing all of the glaring mistakes Nintendo was making leading up to the Switch's release, I was adamant I would wait several months, at least, before buying one. Then I watched the Allies play a variety of Switch games for 8 hours straight, and I was sold. I never watch anything for that many hours without taking a break, but EZA's pure enjoyment of even the silliest quick game had me feeling the jolly vibes through my TV so completely that I watched the entire stream in one sitting. That's when the regret set in. I was so convinced Nintendo was going to disappoint me again that I missed my chance to get a Day 1 Switch. Now the hunt begins. Hopefully by the time Jones reads this, I will be several hours into Zelda, while pretending I never doubted Nintendo for a minute. Shame on you, Eric. I love the Switch. The Joy-Cons for me are comfortable and easy to use despite having big hands. Being able to relax and rest my hands wherever I want has elevated my gaming experience. I was so happy that my friends enjoyed playing Snipperclips as much as I did, and Shovel Knight holds up. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for Yooka-Laylee, and even though I have 760 hours in The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth, I can't wait to play it anywhere in full glory. I guess there is only one thing to say about Nioh. I am one with the katana. Team Ninja is back to form in this beautiful Dark Souls Ninja Gaiden Diablo package. I guess if I had a complaint, it would be the need to add some specialized combos. I miss my Izuna drop skills in 2017. I made the decision to assault myself with katanas and flexible pants with armor this month. I bought For Honor and Nioh, and I have been fighting for the Empire of the Sun ever since. The sheer thrill of For Honor is amazing, and you start sweating every time you go into battle. I enjoy the suspense and analysis that exists before the first swing is swung, like two stray cats in an alley. Nioh is just absolutely fantastic. Everything is tight, and every encounter feels meaningful. It got me so involved when I got to the point that Jones streamed. A lone samurai in the pouring rain, low stance, and RP walking was necessary. Ben and Ian summed Nioh up perfectly. You earn every victory. The first quarter of 2017 is ridiculous, and I'm loving every second of it. (2003) Final Fantasy VIII. I muscle past Mobile Type 8, barely alive, only for Seifer to tear me apart in 3 hits. I put the game down, defeated by my inadequacy. 2005, Final Fantasy X. Seymour rears his antlered head at Macalania Temple and proves to be a headache. I put the game down, distracted by the new Jak and Daxter. 2017, Final Fantasy XV. I look upon my certificate of completion with a strange pride. 50 hours of voyaging, side questing, and friendship, culminating in one photo of a shrimp-topped cup noodle. I put the game down, having proven something to myself, and go searching for the Final Fantasy XIV free trial. Mega Man Legends, one of the greats. Make it happen. Make it right. This month, I played one of the greats. I've loved Metroidvania games for years, but I had never played Super Metroid. I immediately fell in love with it and played it to completion. However, during the later, more tricky sections of the game, I felt the controls showed their age. I now respect Thomas Happ even more for making Axiom Verge so excellent. I'm playing Horizon and Zelda at the same time, and it feels like living on the edge. I'm still having little issues with Horizon and getting consumed in its world. It's an amazing game so far, and the open world looks and feels amazing, but it hasn't clicked yet. But it will happen soon, without a doubt. What really bugs me is Aloy has the same voice as Chloe from Life is Strange, and I'm really emotionally connected to that game and its characters. Playing Zelda, on the other hand, is pure magic from the first second. The world is so immersive and amazing, I just want to wander around and look at every inch of the game. Ganon, I'm coming for you. I know that most people are raving about all of March's video game offerings, be it Switch games, Nier, or the new Mass Effect, but my month of March was all about Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't get to play for more than a few hours each week, so while others have moved on, I've been absorbing all that is Horizon and loving each and every minute of it. Tackling every side quest, searching for every clue, and hunting down every new mechanical monster in this world is every bit the pleasure I imagined it to be when this game was announced. I know that soon it'll be time to move on. I'm looking at you, Persona 5, but I am ever grateful to Horizon for a month of joy, beauty, and spear-thrusting fun. I spent the majority of my free time this month invested in Horizon Zero Dawn. At 60 hours and 10 minutes, I received the Platinum, making this Platinum number 2. It wasn't a necessarily difficult endeavor, but the fact that, as of this writing, 5.5% of people have acquired it speaks volumes about the quality of the game. I'm with what Jones said in his Patreon post of the review on this one. A personal 4.5 stars, easily. This month marks the official end of the Wii U, with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild being the last physical release for the console. While no one can doubt the failure of the Wii U, I'd like to take a moment to reflect upon my experience. You see, I never owned a Wii, so I had missed out on the cultural experience and the great games of that generation, so having the ability to dip into the past and being able to play games I had only heard about or seen clips of was enough for me to decide to purchase the Wii U. I have thoroughly enjoyed playing 2 gens of Nintendo consoles, despite all the flaws, problems, and game droughts the Wii U experienced during its lifetime. A massive world of Nintendo games and memories had been opened up for me, and I never have regretted my purchase. I realize I'm in the minority in my fondness for the Wii U, and I understand why a lot of people feel anywhere from ambivalence to outright disgust. Still, I hope in time the Wii U will get the reputation it truly deserves, a stepping stone to a greater and better Nintendo. This month I picked up Night in the Woods. I figured it would be a nice little platformer, but not much more. Boy was I wrong. The game's story was so fantastic. It went from something that seemed like a goofy ghost story to such a thought-provoking game. It's so much harder for young adults now compared to baby boomers. You can feel so lost in life, and you just have to hold on to the people close to you. Huber was right. Yakuza 0 is amazing. Everyone should play it. Congrats on the first year, everyone. The community is amazing. Let's keep it going. I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, and it's been so disheartening for the past couple game releases to have such reviled reactions surround them. Both games were swamped in controversy before they even came out. Mass Effect 3 allowed same-sex relationships, and the BioWare forums cultivated an extremely toxic environment of homophobia and personal attacks. This behavior never quite went away and would eventually lead to the demise of the forums altogether. I probably don't even need to mention the eruption of rage people had over the ending of Mass Effect 3. Now, before Mass Effect Andromeda was released, again, a sect of the fans went after a woman who formerly worked for EA with abusive threats. This brought back horrible memories of the abuse Jennifer Hepler, a writer for the Dragon Age series, received, which partially led to her leaving BioWare. It is a shame one of my favorite franchises gets associated with such horrible toxic behavior, especially when I feel the games are about inclusivity, at least if you choose to follow that path. I don't know what it is about fans that makes them think this behavior is okay. For years, this has sickened me, and it doesn't seem to be going away. It isn't just isolated to BioWare, of course, but that's where it's hit home for me. This harassment keeps happening, and it needs to stop. I understand the very personal effect BioWare games can have on you, so if a game did something I didn't like, I would want to air criticisms too. But making death threats, doxing personal information, or other actions fueling the flames for other people to go after someone is completely unacceptable. We all need more love and respect. Hey Alaz, longtime fan of your every activity. Game Trailers was my all-time favorite site, and it was a pure joy to see you evolve in your love and respect way.
You did great things and taught us to love games in a way no one does. But as easy allies, you keep showing what a unique, artistic, and dedicated community you are, so thank you for all the great memories. Now, onto the subject of Dark Souls 3. I waited so long for the final DLC. I recently dived into Monster Hunter, and man, this game is great. It's like Pocket Dark Souls. I know that I'm not saying anything new or revolutionary, but still, I'm really happy that these games, among others, keep showing what a great community we can be. Praise the sun, love and respect. I finally did it. After roughly 3 months of on and off gaming and 120 hours of gameplay, I finished Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, including both expansion packs. Since I praised the base game itself in a previous community comment, I'm not going to talk about it a lot. Let's just say that every praise for story, well thought out quests, and visual storytelling is absolutely deserved. However, I want to applaud Blood and Wine as probably the best DLC one could ever hope for. The Duchess of Toussaint, and especially the city of Beauclair, are just beautiful places to be in. Walking through the palace gardens for the first time is almost as mesmerizing as sailing with a boat through the islands of Skellige for the first time. I also have to commend CD Projekt Red for not taking the easy route with the DLC. The main story is intriguing, the new enemy types, especially the new vampires, provide a real challenge, and even the side quests are not copy-pasted work from the main game, but contain completely new tasks. Additionally, it seems mind-boggling that the developers created completely new systems and mechanics that were absolutely not necessary, like the base building in Geralt's Vineyard, or the night tourney, simply because they could. I could go even so far as to say that there are few better full-priced games that I played in the last year. In fact, due to its scaled-down size in comparison to the base game, it is probably more convenient to play Blood and Wine, since you do not have to remember 50 different characters that pop up every once in a while. I do not regret 1 hour that I put into the game. Nevertheless, I am happy to be finally free to tackle a new big game. This year, I've decided to make an effort to expand my gaming experience by choosing a few games that hopefully, by the end of this year, I'll have either finished or nearly beaten. The reason I'm doing this is both for fun and to push myself out of my comfort zone. The games that make the list for this goal are Final Fantasy XV, The Last Guardian, Nier, Bloodborne, and Persona 5. I'll be honest here, I've never played a Final Fantasy game before Final Fantasy XV, but so far, I'm loving the game. Currently, I'm on Chapter 13, which is freaking me out a bit, but hopefully, I'll finish the chapter soon. I love the concept, music, and overall looks of Team Ico games, but have never played one. Maybe it's a bad thing that The Last Guardian is the first game of theirs I'm playing, but I'm loving it so far. Trico is my best bird, cat, dog friend in the world, and no one can tell me otherwise. Nier is going to be a behemoth to finish, but hey, if I just get one ending, I'll be happy. Persona 5 I know I will enjoy, no matter what emotional roller coaster it takes me on. Then there's Bloodborne. I know this game is terrifying, but I've never been so scared before by a video game. However, I'm determined to beat this game and show those dang wolves over by the cleric beast who is boss. It just might take a while to do so. What a mess. I'm currently caught between 5 recent game releases, all of which I want to play dearly. Tales of Berseria, Horizon Zero Dawn, Breath of the Wild, Nier Automata, and Atelier Firis. The fact that I hardly had anything I wanted to play during the second half of 2016, but am now drowning in games, is absurd to me. How did this happen? Did some of these games flee from the industry-stopping launches of Final Fantasy XV and The Last Guardian, only to end up fighting each other for players instead? As it stands, I'm either going to have a lot of games sitting on my shelf for a while, or it'll take me forever to beat them as I juggle 3 or 4 of them at a time. I guess you can have too much of a good thing, after all. Story or gameplay? Of course it's better when both are great, but what if you can only have one? Let me give you 2 examples first. For me, Dishonored 2 is a game with an average story and excellent gameplay. I loved every second of it while playing, and after I finished the campaign, I wanted to start again with another character. But other November games grabbed my attention, and when I finally had free time, I lost my desire to play. The opposite example is Persona 4 Golden. I'm not particularly into JRPG battle systems, so I didn't like its gameplay. The story was good enough to keep struggling, but after finishing the game, I've decided that this will be my first and last dip into the Persona franchise. A few months have passed. All frustration with gameplay was forgotten, while the game's characters, story, and world became better each time I remembered them. Now I love Persona 4, and will play Persona 5 when it comes out. Story or gameplay? If I want to enjoy a game while playing, if it's just for fun, then I pick gameplay. If it's a huge investment of time, if I want to remember a game for years to come, then story is the way to go. February is the month I finally got a PS4 thanks to my girlfriend buying me one for my birthday. The Last Guardian was easily worth GOTY and is one of the best games I've ever played. The relationship I built with Trico throughout the entire game will live with me for my entire life. So many moments had my heart racing. Oh, and that post-credit scene. I finally got to finish Uncharted 3 thanks to the Nathan Drake collection. Although all 3 games are 7 out of 10s, sorry Huber, and Uncharted 3's ending felt very rushed, my god, did they make up for it in Uncharted 4. What a game. The perfect end to the series with a story that had me gripped from beginning to end. Also, thank you Mr. Bossman for the Pokemon TCG 2 streams, the best I've seen yet for Easy A. Although I have to watch them all on archive, even watching them a week late made me feel like I was right next to you watching as you played. You tempted me to relive some childhood memories and play Pokemon TCG 1 on 3DS. I play video games with a lot of anxiety, afraid that I'm not going to feel satisfied by the end of my play sessions, afraid that I'm wasting my limited free time, missing out on some other perfect game out there that can fully absorb my attention. Perhaps it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but I don't get nearly as much pleasure from games as I used to. I feel like I can see lines of the Matrix code in every video game, unable to feel the magic anymore, unable to stop noticing the homogenization of AAA games, instead of just letting go and enjoying myself. What a surprise it's been that both Horizon and Zelda are 2 open-world games that make me feel like a kid again. Being unable to contain my excitement to get home and progress further in a video game is a feeling I haven't felt in a long time. I just want to play again, and it feels so good. Also, I want to add that while the Switch Pro Controller is a comfortable upgrade to the Joy-Cons, there's something special about playing Breath of the Wild while lying in bed, looking at a propped-up Switch screen, with a Joy-Con in each hand in any position. I doubt I'll use the Switch away from home very often, but I can see myself playing video games this way. Say what you will about the Switch's relatively low graphical power, but it sure is a convenient piece of technology. I've never had a problem with purchasing 1 game per month, until now. It has been an absolute nightmare to make a choice. Should I buy Nioh or Horizon? Should I wait next month to journey into Mass Effect and instead experience something new with Nier Automata? Should I jump into the Dark Souls 3 DLC or have some fun with my friends in Ghost Recon Wildlands? Or should I absolutely go all in and make the switch for Zelda? Crippled with indecision, I caved and bought XCOM 2 instead. I don't regret a thing. 10 years of waiting, 110 hours of game time, I finally have finished Final Fantasy XV. While I understand the disdain for Chapter 13, I found it not to be the complete abomination it was made out to be, but the back half, chapter-wise, of the game really failed in its execution, particularly with explaining characters' backstory, motivations, and other details. What I will remember is all the time I've spent on the road listening to iconic soundtracks and going on hunts, but the mishandling of characters and story, as a whole, is inexcusable. On the other hand, I've also finished Horizon Zero Dawn and have loved every minute of it. Sure, there is a side quest here or there that isn't all that compelling, or is a bit irksome with backtracking, but its design and systems are engaging. After watching Spoiler Mode, there are a few sentiments I disagree with, but agree with the overall sentiment about how great it is. So much so, it is my contender for personal GOTY as of the end of March. Please don't misconstrue, Zelda is going to clean house with the GOTYs at the end of the year. But it's not my thing. Now that I've finished Aloy's story, I'll turn my eye to Mass Effect Andromeda. The animation issue isn't a bother to me, but what I care about is story. I'll have to make my own judgment when I finally can get through it, but not hearing overly positive things is troubling. Finally, it is March, so I would be remiss if I didn't address the best part of this month, Easy Allies in Concert, and the 1-year celebration week. I was, and still am, real bummed I couldn't make it, but being able to see pictures on Twitter and the forums, and most important, the Easy update giving me the opportunity to get to see fellow allies was gratifying. It is heartwarming to see so many come together and have a jolly time. My thanks to Easy A for putting out both the concert and Easy update videos, so I could experience such a wonderful occasion from the other side of the country. Love and respect to all of my fellow allies. This month, I truly felt the meaning of love and respect. Earlier in March, I sent in a gift to the allies. It was a game I made, and I was extremely nervous about it, but I really didn't need to be. The amount of love and respect I received from the community was overwhelming. I can't think of anywhere else on the internet where someone can show off a game and not receive a single negative comment about it. Not a single one. Everyone who reached out to me was so kind. This community is known for being positive and filled with love, but I had no idea how far that went. This is a community that we should be proud of. It truly is one of a kind. Easy Allies gained many new subscribers during the first 12-hour anniversary stream. The introduction of new people brings in many new valuable opinions and insights. Some of these sentiments are not in line with Easy Allies' ideology. We need to have a talk about love and respect. It's more than a tagline. Love and respect is who we are, not what we talk about. When a person publicly criticizes another person or company, it decreases the likeliness of having a respectful conversation. This person narrows their mind. They wait for the opportunity to talk negatively about a topic, instead of opening themselves up to other people's points of view. People inherently believe they are good. I do not see these attitudes coming from good, loving, and respecting people. We should embody love and respect. This applies to the Easy Allies, the chat moderators, and the members who comprise the Easy Allies Twitch chat. Our words have power. Words have power to change opinions, and power to change people's perceptions. These words can bring in negative statements from chat regulars. Case in point is some chat members who criticize one console manufacturer and praise another. It may feel good to insult one another, however a more constructive conversation would be the possibilities of having multiple console manufacturers, who have to compete for our loyalty. We allies need to assemble and call out statements that are not in line with our motto. We get better gaming discussions when we respect each other's point of view. I just wanted to say that I've been traveling for about 16 months now, and the week I spent in LA for the anniversary was easily one of my favorite moments from the whole trip. Attending the concert, meeting you guys, and most importantly, meeting all the friends I've made from the community for the first time was just incredible. Roll on next year to do it all over again. Originally, I had planned to comment on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild this month. I was going to go on about how fun it was to traverse, explore, discover, and whittle away hours in the land of Hyrule. This no longer became the highlight of March for me, after meeting up with a group of amiable folks. I traveled to Los Angeles to celebrate Easy Allies going 1 year strong. That wasn't my main motivation, however. It was the people I have talked to for the past year and change. Stemming from the closure of GT during that dark month before the rise of Easy A, a group of us bonded and got our gaming discussion fill from each other. Or at least I did. During that first year of Easy Allies, we got closer and discussed more than just video games. So when word hit that there would be an event, a group of us were able to take advantage. When we all started to actually meet each other, it wasn't awkward. Instead, it was like meeting a bunch of college buddies you hadn't seen in a while. We all just hit it off, and it led to a fantastic week. Yes, the concert was great, and it was cool to see all the allies again, but the moments I shared with this group of friends, the memories we had, whether it was exploring Little Tokyo, sharing a few pies of pizza, having pancakes while watching some weird Japanese cartoon about a magical bear and cat thing, checking out the Griffith Observatory, visiting the Santa Monica Pier, closing down a bar, or simply hanging out. They were all made special because of the people I got to share it with. That wouldn't be possible without this community. So thank you, Easy Allies, for existing and being who you are. As a community, you have attracted a lot of class act people. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have met any of the fantastic people I've met. I wouldn't have gained so many amazing friends. I would not have obtained such priceless memories. Congratulations on the 1 year. Congratulations on putting on such a great show. And to my friends, I hope to see you all in a year because I already miss all your faces. Much love and respect to you all. March has been quite a month. Just for starters, Zelda and the Switch are out. No one can deny the relevance of that. I also managed to beat a bunch of games that I'd like to talk about, but come on, this is the Easy Allies community comments. I can't think of a better subject for this month than the anniversary. Unfortunately, I can't talk about how much joy this event brings to me without mentioning how miserable last year's February was. The GT closure hit me hard. I really got depressed for the remainder of the month. Ben tweeting from the GT Tabletop Twitter account, anyone feel up for an adventure? Kyle popping up in Twitch chat because he got charged the subscription fee, Brandon checking in during his lunch break while emptying the office, and Huber saying, fuck it, I need to stream, I miss the community, were little expressions that felt like a light in the end of a long tunnel. Then came March 11th. All of the allies tweeted a date to look forward to, and anticipation began. When the 21st hit, my Twitter feed was full of reports of the return of the Game Trailers crew as Easy Allies. I watched the promo video, checked the Patreon site, and decided to join like many people even before the launch stream began. It was really a pleasure to see the crew back together hitting goals like there was no tomorrow. This past year has been a glorious ride, and because of that, all I want to say is thank you. Thank you for taking the risk of Patreon and not leaving a mourning community out in the dry. Thank you for bringing such needed positivity to this medium where so many people focus on the bad aspects of the gaming industry. Thank you for being so humble and maybe a little naive that the community would not just pour love and respect your way, supported by their wallets. Here's to the allies and many more years of love and respect. These last 365 days have been great and would not be happier without you guys. Thank you for lifting our spirits during hard times and bringing the smile even if everything doesn't always work. And thank you for the shows, streams, and events in the past, present, and future. And may the next 365 days be as jolly as ever. Love and respect. Thank you for an amazing year, you marvelous butts.